as we move ourselves in the direction of co-creating with the universe. And each one of you has such a powerful opportunity at this time. The planets are all lined up, helping support us in what we want to create. But I know the world seems to be creating some resistance. There's a lot going on. So how do you reach your dreams? How do you create? How do you manifest what you want and still navigate the twists and turns that are here before us? I look back, as I encourage all of you to do. Look back to 2000, 2004, 2007. Look back to 2010. Look back to 2012. Take a look. Where were you? Rather than look at what you've yet to accomplish, look at what you've already accomplished. Because we all have grown so much and we've all come so far over this timeline. But where were you in the year 2000? What was going on in your life? What was momentous at that time? How could you find your path then? What was going on? And how could you interpret what was happening versus where you are now? You see, some of us are where we are now because of choices that we made somewhere between 2012 and this moment in time. So what were those choices? You know, the universe is always prompting us, pushing us, nudging us, suggesting to us things. But a lot of times we're very closed off. We don't want to hear what the universe has to say. We think we have to stick to the path, the thing that we're doing, the job that we have, the people that we're surrounding ourselves with, the town that we live in. And sometimes the universe presents to us an opportunity to think of something new, go somewhere else, make a move, change our job, go back to school. But then our monkey mind goes crazy. And the monkey mind begins to say to us, you're already invested in school. You've already accomplished this. Why are you going to go back? It's going to cost you more money. It's going to be a lot to juggle work and going back to school. And we start to think of all the things that create resistance or all the things that could go wrong in the experience. Maybe we're in a relationship and we're not feeling that connectivity. But then if I broke up with this person, then, it's not that bad. And so I might as well stay. And if I'm staying, it'll work out somehow. I mean, I've been with this person for so long and I can make it happen. And if I leave or we break up, then it just gets complicated. And what if I can't support myself? Or what if I don't meet someone and then I'm going to be by myself? And we have this whole story of all the things that could go wrong. So we put ourselves in this holding pattern of life. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't be excited and enthusiastic in a holding pattern and find good moments. But sometimes the universe is pointing to us and they're saying, look over there. There's a change that's coming for you. And you want to look and consider it as an opportunity. Ultimately, you have free will, and some of us choose the path that we're on, and we never really veer much from the road that we're walking. And that too is okay. And then there are others of you that, you get an idea in your head and you just pick up and go, and amazing things start happening. And you go from one thing to another, and if something doesn't work out, you just bounce off of that and go to something else, kind of like Tigger, just bouncing around, experiencing new things, and being open. So what's the happy medium? Because not every one of us is adventurous. And not every one of us is someone who feels locked, but many of us are unsure, especially in times like now. How do you make a move? How do you make a change? Housing market's been a bit bizarre lately. Prices are going up. Things are costly and overwhelming. Work is maybe not what it used to be for you. Maybe your hours have changed. People are a little disconnected and argumentative and, quite frankly, a little burned out from these past few years. So how do you line yourself up with new opportunities when there's so much that seems to be pushing against you, holding you back, holding you prisoner to a life that maybe desires a change, but maybe the fear is there. Because if you look everywhere, there's something to be concerned about at this moment. But does that mean that because there's so much going on in the world, you can't have your life? You can't meet a partner? You can't make a change in a relationship? You're not able to make a job change or go back to school? If it's meant for you, the universe, regardless of what's going on, is going to find a way to make it work. And the opportunities are going to open. But you have to, on a beautiful night outside, in the privacy of your own personal space and energy, you have to look outside and look to the stars and say, I'm ready. I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for a new beginning. And I don't know how I'm going to create this new beginning. So, universe, I'm open to the guidance. I'm open for the experience. But just give me the nudge. Give me the clue. Give me the feeling that I need. You see, I remember in 2004 when I was caught up in this cycle of work. It was very rewarding. It was fun. It was challenging. And I thought I wanted to take it to the next level. And the work that I was doing was, well, very complicated sales presentation that was a very long-term cycle of a close to the sale. But when you closed it, you were sitting on a $16 million deal. You were sitting on a $5 million deal. You were at a $100 million deal. So the deals were huge. They were big picture visions for corporations in a way that they could transform their customer service. And I was the person who was seeking those companies that wanted the change and then closing those deals with the help of my team at my company that I was a part of. So I thought, I want to change. And I remember the day I said to my friends, well, I know I'm in New Jersey and I like my job. I can go anywhere. I had just made a transfer to another organization and there was even more flexibility. I had negotiated quite the pretty little contract. So I said, hey, I'm going to go for the change. I need a change of environment. There's nothing for me here in New Jersey. So my friends were like, where are you going to go? And I said, I'm going to Florida. Well, what's in Florida? Not much. Palm trees and sunshine, I said. And so I made the change. There was no urgency. There was nothing like what many of you experienced in 2020 who came down here and said, hey, I'm out of the city. I got to get out. There was just this feeling. But there was no real plan. There was no direction. And I really thought that I was going to continue doing what I was doing the way I was doing it. But of course, life brings about changes. And some of those changes proved to be a little uncomfortable for me and created a series of events that ultimately required me to remove myself from my current position, focus on myself personally, and in a healing process, choose a new path. But I didn't know what that path was going to look like. So many of you sit across from me and you're discovering your spirituality. You're feeling your guides and your angels. You're having these awakening moments. And the question is, well, what am I going to do with all this? Well, how is this going to help me? And if I am experiencing supernatural connective energies, well, how can I use that to make a difference in people's lives? How can I follow my own intuition for myself? And then how do I move forward? So many of you are in that spot, that holding pattern of uncertainty in your personal journey. And you don't really know how to tune in. Well, that's okay. Neither did I. I knew there was a spiritual path. I had a really good mentor. But never did I put it together that there were choices that I could make that would actually put me on the path that I'm on now. And so many people say to me, well, why did you pick that path? I had a background that could have given me any job. I could have done anything. I could have sold anything. I could have gone back into music and show business and pursued that at a different level. There were so many things that were there for me. But there's a feeling inside that I'm encouraging you all to tune into, to be open and feel the feeling of who you really are. Not the person that you've had to be to survive. Not the person that you had to be because this is how we live our lives. We go to high school, we go to college, we get a good job, we get a house, we build a family, we engage with our friends, and we do different activities. And we live this life that's routine, fulfilling, but maybe it's not your story. It's a story for many of us. And it's a great part of the life story of being a human. But it's not the full story for so many. And I think that as I listen to people, I feel dissatisfaction in their lives because they're doing great things. They've got great families. They may have a great job. Maybe at times they've had their struggles like we have all at different points in our life, but they're in gratitude and life is good and they feel good, but they feel like something's missing. But because you don't see yourself different than what you are, and you don't know to look for clues and be open for those clues, that's when sometimes we miss that opportunity and we don't step into something completely fulfilling. And by no means do we have to give up one form of life for another form of life. In order for me to create a business and build a center and connect with all of you on a regular basis, I couldn't have held down a full-time job. So I had to make what I chose work for me. There was no in between. But for many of you, it's a journey of understanding the purpose for your breath of life. Some of you are meant to empower others with your words and your healing energy. Others of you are in a healthcare arena, so you can assist people on so many levels. Some of you are just waking up to your spiritual path and you don't know what it means. Well, that's where I was when I was with my teacher. That's where I was in the early 2000s, long before I got it in my head to move to Florida on a whim. And it was actually one of my crazy ideas. Packing up the car and shipping it on a train and getting on a plane and just coming to Florida. But it was a feeling. It was, if I didn't go, then my life was going to feel like something was missing. But I didn't know what I was going to. Often in life, we don't know what we're going to or for. Sometimes we just have to go. And people ask me why I do what I do and why I do this radio show. You know, tonight we are on our 631st live show. Next month will be 13 years on radio. And I do this so that I can truly assist everyone. And sometimes I feel that you have to do a lot of your own work. And then there comes a time where you can't look at the experience of guidance as a crutch. You need to take the information that Spirit gives you. You're going to ask your questions, Spirit's going to give you the answer. And you have to build your own platform. You have to build your own vision. You have to take it and work with it. So sometimes when we keep coming back and we ask the same question, or we keep seeking answers to more questions, and we haven't delved into the stillness of the one question, the who am I, the self-discovery, the understanding that we're one. We're one with the divine. We're one with the universe. We are all connected. And that the answer is here, not just for you, but for many people the answer is the answer that's to your question. And that's why I love when we have, and we encourage people to call from all areas, all walks of life. And we encourage you to ask your most intimate, open questions that, of course, you feel comfortable asking on radio or on Facebook or YouTube. But this is for everyone. And this is not something that I have to do. This is something that I desire to do to assist people. But there's a level of elevation that comes now for each one of you to start asking the big questions. Because do we really want to keep asking the question about, why is my boyfriend treating me this way? Do we really want to keep calling and asking questions that are not helping you get to the next level because you're not doing anything to help yourself? Or do we want to ask the question that's the key to the root of all your problems? But sometimes as humans, we cannot handle the truth. We don't want to hear the real answer. We don't want to ask the down deep, scary question of, what are you afraid of? Or what's blocking you? Or why can't you leave that partner? Or how do you have to heal from a childhood memory that is actually like an undertow pulling you back every time you move forward? What are you not accountable for? We have to all take accountability for our words, our thoughts, and our actions. And if you don't think that your thoughts and your actions make a difference, I want you to take a good look at the world. Every angry thought you ever thought is a collective energetic mass floating in the world. And the more fearful and angry and frustrated we become, the more dust bunnies of angst and anger and frustration are collected in the collective consciousness of the universe, particularly on this planet. So rather than look at things that are not working for you or what you don't like about someone, rather than focus on frustrations in the government or in your workplace, focus on what you need to change for you. Focus on how you feel and what feeling can you tap into to shift your consciousness. And don't say, oh, I can't do that, or I'm not doing that, or because you shut the energy down before you've even allowed it to flow. You stop the flow of what's coming. So many of you want a relationship, but you'll say, I don't know if I could trust anybody again. Well, you've got to trust yourself. And you're going to have to sit down with yourself and understand that you yourself are making the choosing. And that no one is really pulling the wool over your eyes the way you think they are. They're not. We like to tell ourselves that. But to use a very overused term, there's always red flags. But we like to make excuses for people. And when things don't go our way, we don't always take responsibility. We have to take responsibility. We have to take responsibility for our part. Any relationship that didn't go right or ended uncomfortably, what was your part? I know what my part has been. What has your part been? What were you not willing to see? How were you not willing to grow? And why didn't you leave when you could have left? Why didn't you leave the job that was making you miserable? I know, because we have a pension. A pension that might as well be a prison sentence if you're going to spend 30 years of your breath of life to get a certain amount of money at the end of the time frame. And I know it's stability. I get it. But you know how many people work those 30, 40 years, and 3 years after they retire, they die? Every moment in your life is precious. Every moment should be regarded as a magnificent moment, even the challenging moments, because these are the moments that help you know who you are, help you discover your courage, your insight, your intuition. And they teach you humility, to just lay down and say, I can't do it alone. I need help. And help does not mean people you call who rescue you. Yes, we're fortunate when we have friends and family who can guide us and be a listening ear and maybe give us a leg up. But there are so many people who don't have that. And they have risen above some of the most crazy experiences, difficult, challenging, because down inside they knew that if they didn't, they would just wither and die emotionally and spiritually. You see, I just knew that if I stayed in New Jersey, and I love New Jersey, nothing against it, but I just knew if I stayed there, something was going to be missing. And I had a feeling that that chapter was over. And so it was time to go. Just like when I had a feeling to open the center, I knew it was a new beginning. And every year, as we approach our radio anniversary, and this year our center's 16 years in establishment here in West Palm Beach, and people come from all over. I got to meet Christopher from our Facebook friends who follow our show, and his wife Tricia. They came into the center the other day. We know so many other people. Amanda has come through. People have come through from all walks of life, all countries, all places to the center. And we've created a central melting pot of spirituality and emotional and spiritual support for all of you. But every year I ask the questions, the big questions. Do I want to do this? Is this where I want to be now? Is it time for me to continue doing this? Is there another direction for me? And then I sit. I sit and I wait, not for what my mind is going to tell me, because we're really good at filling in the blanks. I don't put down cards and go, oh, I see an angel, I'm staying. I wait for the same feeling that directed me to move to Florida in the first place. I wait for the same feeling that said, hey, you're going to go open a store. You have no idea what to do and how to do it, but you're going to go do it and you're going to figure it out. I wait for the same feeling of surrender that came over me when I did feel like I was at conflict spiritually and that there was a lot of heavy energy coming against me at a time where I was like, hey, I'm just trying to help people. What's happening? And I had to surrender to God and say, God, if this is your will, if this is who I've come to be in this world, then here I am. Then you make it a little easier. Otherwise, SarahSpiritual out, drop the mic, I'm done. And like a whoosh of energy came in within the weeks to come. But you know what God looks for? Your humility. Sometimes we get it in our head that we can handle it, that we've got all the answers, or we're just going to push through. We're going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. You don't make anything happen. You need to be the magnet to allow the best of the version of your story to come. If you've got to push to make something happen, then there's nothing that's going to happen that's going to be easy and harmonious. And sometimes we all get a little high on our britches. Yes, we think who the heck we are. Why? Because we've done some things. And on the other side of the spectrum, we get really hard at ourselves. And we criticize ourselves. And we think of all the failures and all that's not working. And then we choose to tell the story to anyone who'll listen. Oh, it happened again. I just got fired from my job. Oh my God. Or another relationship. I caught him on the phone talking to someone else. And we go into the story. But what you don't know is the wound itself inside of you. You want attention, so you're attracting that experience, and then so people can feel that energy. But who is the central point of attraction? You are. You're creating in every aspect of your life so many parts of the experiences. So tonight, ask big questions. And every night from this night forth, 631 live shows. And we want to guide you. And I need you all to remember that there's thousands, millions of people listening. And the show is not just for a few people, a few select people who want to keep calling and want answers. It's for everyone. And I expect, as we journey in this 13th year, that you are open to allowing yourself to learn from someone else's question. Because sometimes in our self-centeredness, we're asking the wrong questions because we want life to go the way we want. And at this moment in time, everything in the universe is saying, what do you want? Where do you want to go? How do you want your life to be? And get out your paintbrush, paint it, make your vision board, and focus on that and only that. And don't allow the distractions, the hurt, the pain, the angst, and the hardships that are around us and will continue to build in this 2022. Don't allow them to defeat you, because your path is already written in stone. You already are on your path to destiny. But you can seize the moment and make it happen the easy way, or you can struggle the whole way through to finally get to what you want. And we want to enjoy the experience, because the journey of life, as complicated as it is a journey that brings us closer to the essence of who we are, the divine, and is truly a time of celebration.